Right, and we would be back. So we have our next game, which will be Gold Sanctuary. I am still not
It
on.
will
It's
be
overnight.
Overnight versus Liberty Gaming.
Thank you. Overnight against Liberty Gaming, and we will be playing. What did I say? What it was? I am still confused. Coastline, I believe.
Yep, it is Coastline.
So there we go. Liberty against Overnight. So as we were talking while the mics were off, it is kind of interesting to see. We will have one of like Canadian team and a Mexican team. So talking about the pings, that will be interesting. And on the other hand, what are the gamer tags on Overnight? Phoenix.ok. Nope. Xero.
Um, Coastline real quick. Um,
Nope. Nope. I have accepted like 2 or 3 friend invites at once, and that was my mistake because right now I don't know who to invite actually. Hey, Firemeister. Somebody wants to talk to me, but I don't know who. I have up here. Okay, Harry. Dot ANH. There we go. And what was the other one? It is. Hello, can you load? Yeepy.ok. That's still easy enough. Here we go. So it looks like the Liberty team will be playing on the blue side again. Map will be Coastline. Like that. Just to make sure, overnight. Okay, I don't want to get a typo in there like I did last time because that is kind of embarrassing. And the stream is back up, so yeah, sorry guys for the downtime we had. I had made a mistake in the required delay for ESL. So ESL wants us to have 4.5 minutes of delay to ensure there's no stream hacking or stream sniping going on, and I want to have the lowest delay possible to have as nice a conversation with the chat as possible. So that's why when I realized that I was above what was minimally required, I lowered it instantly, which caused us to be off for just about 5 minutes. I'm very sorry about that. So we have the overnight and Liberty teams, which will be joining us today. Some of them are returning, some of them are new. So, is there anything you want to add on to that?
I would have to add a good luck to both teams. We've obviously seen Liberty and their gameplay, but we haven't really seen their gameplay on this type of map being a kind of a even, equal-sided map for both sides, especially against a new competitor being Overnight, a surprisingly Mexican team we have not seen, or Hispanic, whichever one you would prefer. They are of the, or under the Mexico flag, I believe,
Yes, yes, they
if
are.
I'm correct.
Because if you are,
Yeah.
just to interject real quick, the North America Go4 are open to US, Canada, and Mexican residents for ping reasons. If you're anywhere else, you can play in another region. For example, if you were to be any lower in South America, there's the South American Go4 for you. So it's not about the country more than it is about the geographical location. Just want to make sure that, yeah, whatever. Um, so yeah, what would no matter what, it is going to be very interesting to have players that are just about as far away from one another as possible within those limitations. So the pings might be a bit higher than what we would have if we had teams from, I don't want to say the center of the US, but the mandated server here is CUS. So if you were from, say, Kansas or Idaho, you'd have a way better ping than some of those players.
For sure, I definitely would have to agree with you. So, internet connection might be an actual factor in this, considering we are obviously not at a LAN event. So, the ping is going to be very varied on the CUS server. Just kind of reiterate what you were saying. But yeah, so I do have a couple things to actually say about Coastline itself that will be up for when we're in the game itself, obviously. Kind of do have a type of routine thing that we do, but nevertheless, I do actually have a conversation topic to speak about.
Yeah, go ahead. And just as we see the overnight team who are already in the chat supporting their people, so we have Elect saying hashtag OK team. Hey there, Elect. I will wish you guys the best of luck, and I am very excited to see what you guys can bring to the table and to see what kind of spectacle we will get out of that game. So definitely best of luck to you. Best of luck to all of the players. Once again, we have to remain neutral. So yeah, you were going to say?
I was actually going to say, looking at the season 9 mid-season bomb site statistics, we obviously don't have the season 10 statistics in yet, considering that the season actually is not over yet. But
Makes sense.
nevertheless, we are going to have the previous season. Yeah, we're going to have the previous season statistics in. And so far, looking at it statistically, just completely fact-wise, Coastline, the map itself, is a very level-headed, neck and neck type of map, with the exception of hookah billiards being the prized site with a 64.5% win rate versus the under half and slightly above half percentage of win rates, with coming with the obvious defense-sided game in general. But that being that whole factor being taken out completely, just statistics being thrown away, thrown to the side. What do you prefer? Do you prefer the defense or do you prefer the attack on Coastline?
It really does come down to the bomb site, I would say. Some bomb sites have changed so much in the past metas, in the past updates, that they were previously really easy to hold and now they're really difficult, or the actual opposites. For example, blue bar, I kind of don't really like defending. So on that one, I'd say I like attacking. But if you take a look at Penthouse, the defense on that is just so easy. From a organization standpoint, it's not the easiest bomb site to defend, but pick Rook, grab an ACOG, and just sit in that home cinema. Look at the toilets, the showers, or the Hall of Fame door, and you're good. And that's it. So it really comes down to the specifics of what round you're playing.
And considering the new meta, and especially what you were saying with how the new meta can truly affect which bomb sites are preferred, which bomb sites are better than others, my question to you then is just completely opinion wise. Do
Go
you
ahead.
think with the new seasons coming out and the new characters coming out, which characters do you think can affect mostly or can affect the meta the most and can affect the which type? You don't necessarily have to go into specific characters, but just even role type characters. Which role type characters do you think can affect the meta the most?
Are you talking about Goyo Namaru, which will be released into the Pro League season next season, or are you talking about new operators to bring in uh, to have Ubisoft just create? Are you what characters are you talking about?
I'm speaking about the characters in general that are released, like with the past previous few seasons,
Okay, so
since the meta has changed. Yeah.
um, it's quite interesting because you have the characters and then you have the guns. which can render a playstyle kind of useless. I would say, however, that I'm really, really, really curious to see how Amaru will interact with the scene. She's kind of an eye catcher, right? The rappel zip line is really interesting. You can jump up through hatches, and that will cause a bit of pause to the defenders. Do you want to open up the hatch, for example, in the penthouse, to be able to just jump down if you receive too much pressure, or would you rather just have it reinforced to make sure that Amaru can just not open it up with the shotgun? I mean, that is going to become a real question. But Goyo is going to be the real game changer with the shields that can just prevent any entry through those doorways. It is kind of a bona fide smoke. His gadget is a little bit different, but at its core, it does the same effect, area of damage, right? So late game, he can be very useful, and I believe he is going to be good in those bomb sites where you have a lot of doors and very few windows. So if you have a basement site, Goyo can be way more interesting than if you have it on a first or second floor, because those windows are a possible point of entry where he is just not as useful.
So, speaking about Amaru and Goyo specifically, me personally, just putting out my opinion, I think that Amaru will have a pretty big impact on the game. My personal opinion, negatively, because what I see from a grappling hook is a run and gun ability being
Yes,
implemented
definitely.
into the game. I definitely do see that because what we what makes Rainbow Six Siege so different from franchises like Call of Duty and like Halo, Battlefield, that type of thing. It's strategic advantage. It's unlike any other game that way. That you have, head-to-head gunfights that could end either way. It's very varied when there's just a lot of variety in strategy, and strategy is again a very big component, a very big factor that goes into that. So, with that being said, my question is how can Amaru affect that? And I honestly am going to say negatively because when you put in a grappling hook, it adds in the speed factor that it can change the tone of the game, it can change the pace of the game, and kind of make it uneven, which is what we don't necessarily want to see. And obviously, we are going to be going into the game, so I will have to cut that conversation short. But I will actually go into the conversation of Coastline. So I obviously have talked about this previously, being the fact that Coastline is a neck and neck map with the exception of Hook and Billiards, which is our kind of spotlight site that we will most likely be seeing quite a lot during this game being played. And kind of a couple features of this map that we do want to highlight: the long hallways allowing for angle holding and kind of for either team to use their advantage, the predictable map layout, kind of the same uh, feature, the same function. It can go either way depending on which team can take advantage of it. So obviously with the center courtyard in the middle of the map. It allows for a lot of predictable rotations, a lot of predictable attacking power going that way. So it's up to the attack and generally the defense, depending on takeovers and that whole realm of playing. It really goes down to whoever can play the least predictable in this map and can take advantage of the situation. But nonetheless, we are going to go immediately into bans. We are going to be seeing Jackal, Blackbeard, and Mira being banned. So Mira and Blackbeard being a big player, considering that Blackbeard is a very, very vital operator for the window play, which again, a lot of windows are on, especially highlight sites like Hookah Billiards, the main two windows being in both sites, and Echo being our last ban with the actually with his ability being taken out. I personally don't believe it's that big of a deal because a lot of Go4, especially Go4 games, go down to a death match rather than a plant. So Echo being taken out for me isn't a very big deal, but we'll have to see how his ban can take away the strategy and the effectiveness of each team. But getting into the main pick phase, we're going to be seeing a 6 pick for each team from Twitch to Sledge and from Clash to Mute. So we'll have to see how that can affect each strategy. Obviously, considering that Twitch kind of got traded out preemptively for the Sledge, which is kind of utility for fragging power, in my opinion. That's going to be quite an interesting play. We'll have to see throughout the round, though.
Yeah, definitely. I was kind of trying to find the reasoning behind those 6 picks. So obviously with Mute you want to limit the intel the attacking team in this case Liberty can take on your guys. That is a very valid strategy, and yeah, definitely. However, Clash is really good when it comes to slowing down an attack. If the rush is insanely fast and you have no time to react to it, Clash um, can temper that rush. And before the attacking, I'm trying to find who the entry fragger is going to be. So you wouldn't expect Nomad to entry fragger. Should more than likely be anti-roaming. So it either be Zofia or Sledge. And yeah, definitely Twitch can also be a good entry frag. So she does have the drone to say take out those Capcan traps or Gumas, and then you can rush easily. And Sledge, his fragging potential comes from his, well, frag grenades. So on that side, the orange team, the defenders here, had a 6 pick that totally changed the role of one of their players, whereas the attackers, Liberty here, changed the way the entry frag is going to happen. As we have the first blood here by Jaeger with those bullet holes. However, he was moving, so the first kill was not by those bullet holes, but we could see one of the drones coming up behind him. So if he's not careful, oh no, he knows, but that's just not going to be enough. We have Nomad here getting the refrag, and that's going to be roaming out and done for him. However, we do have one last roamer, and that's going to be Legion. Legion, however, is not as well poised as his teammate was. So we'll have to see how he does. For the time being, however, he's not going to be receiving too much pressure. Actually, the pressure will be coming here by Aquarium, where we could see most of them being, but I'm not entirely sure who that was. Is that Smoke? Yeah, Smoke is already being flashed, so that's not good. It seems as if the diffuser might be planted quickly here.
Yeah, if the attackers can take advantage of the bomb site layout, they might be able to control the windows as well as the bomb site itself if Smoke does not take the chance to capitalize on his space and the aggressive ability that he can really perform. And it is going to come down to performance for himself. And like I was saying, with the predictable map layout, Legion might have a bit of a problem making rotations if the attackers are able to hold their sights. And it's going to be a Nitro Cell kill for the attackers. And now another kill for for the defenders with a 2v3 situation. About 1 minute left in the round. And enemy detected outside is going to be Nomad going down. And with a 3v1 now situation, it's up to Sledge to plant the bomb, maybe get a couple kills, and win out the round for his team.
I don't want to say that the round was done for, but the attackers, the Liberty team here, was in a very strong position. They were knocking at the objective. Many of the roamers were still out and about, and it seemed as if they were going to be able to step foot in that objective really quickly and wreak havoc there. But it just did not happen. Oh, he's going to take very little, if any, damage here. And the situation just got totally turned upside down. So Firemaster seems to know that somebody's here, but he just does not react as he peeks. That is kind of odd, though. Winning overnight the first round. And yeah, a total change of what we were expecting. Many attackers dying really quickly, one after the other, leading us to a defense win.
Yeah, it was actually quite the feed for the defenders. Personally, I was expecting that the attackers were going to win out that round, considering the pressure that the attackers were able to pull out, and the fact that they were, in fact, pressured themselves to lose the round, and especially with that mute feed at the end, it just secured the loss for the attackers, unfortunately, as the Nomad was not able to hold the window for her team anymore and able to hold any type of rotations. So again, like we were talking about, the type of predictable map rotations and the unpredictability of them mute walking out into the actual outside of the map for that matter, unfortunately came down to Nomad's reaction time and just wasn't enough for her.
So here we're going to see something that's going to be a bit unexpected. Kitchen defense. So that is not what I would have thought was going to happen. But here, as we can see, Maestro already opening up that wall to give his Evil Eye as much of a visibility or as big of a line of sight as possible. And these teams really kind of seem to know what they're doing. Everybody, you can see how and why they work together. The impacts are instantly visible. Apparently, we'll have some roaming up here in the home cinema, since we can see obviously that there's a bit of a setup going on here. And the question here is going to be, how will the Liberty team adapt to it? Because obviously, this is not your standard run-of-the-mill setup. This is not the setup you'd expect from a team that just follows the trends. And Liberty will have to adapt and to improvise on that.
And like I was kind of saying, the unpredictability and the pace that the defense here is setting is obviously it's going to be adding up to their wins for these rounds, especially because of the fact that they are with their unpredictability on such a predictable map such as Coastline. It really cements the fact that they are a very skilled team in winning out the engagements. And when you're doing the unpredictable on the predictable, it's obviously not going to be expected by the attack. And so far from the attack, they have not been able to win in these unpredictable engagements, and so far it's just been all for the defense. And as I say that, it's going to be a kill for Mozzie from Thatcher on the main master window, and it does seem like a lot of pressure is going to be killing this Jaeger in the end with a 5v3 situation now, and it looks like the top roam was unfortunately ineffective for the defense.
However, we can see that Gridlock is very low on health. But yeah, as you were saying, the they did the unexpected and it kind of didn't really work out. At the end of the day, a rotational is always a double-edged sword, as we could see here. I think it was Thatcher who used it to shoot at Jaeger in his back. So tough luck there, and they will probably do better next time. If not, they will adapt their recipe and in hopes of having a better result next time. But yeah, as we can see here, Smoke getting cleared out as well. 2v5 situation. Well, 2v4 with IQ being down, but she can still be revived. That impact maybe will just barely not get the kill. On a practical sense, leaving us with Maestro in a 1v4 situation for the objective. He seems to know that somebody is right here. That could be the good moment to run out, but it was just a bait. Nixty just not hopping on that camera. So, Chego is in a 1v5 situation here. Should he win that, he will ace it. The drone here takes his intel, and no, that is just going to be a flawless round for Liberty, who lost the last round in an unexpected fashion. This time, it is going to go down exactly what or how you would expect it to happen. In a 1v5 situation, Maestro was just not going to get that ace. Should somebody do it, though, Maestro was the one to be able to with his nice and heavy-hitting machine gun with the big magazine.
With that being said, you can obviously see that this round was expected to be won by the attackers, especially with the vertical play. It was a very predictable round in all essence of it. It was a very easy one round for the attackers, being that they were able to apply just enough pressure in order to kill enough defenders and just take over the objective, take over and in all surround the defenders on all sides. And again, it was just a round that shaped up to be a quite an easy win through the utility of the attackers.
So sometimes setting the trends or trying to reinvent the wheel works out, and sometimes I would say that this strategy does have a couple of flaws. Chief among them would be that rotation hold behind. Let's just watch the replays again to illustrate it again. Modzi behind an unreinforced wall, pinned down as he was, and Jaeger here behind an opened rotation hold. So that was his big mistake, and he paid to that. So the roaming game might have to be adapted a little bit, but other than that, on the side itself, it was all in fine. They just lost all their roamers, leaving them at a numerical disadvantage. Why does it say that my stream is offline when I'm trying to read the chat? Okay, I am kind of freaking out right now, but refresh the page, and yeah, we're good. Nothing burger. Yeah, so we can see the attackers here coming in. The defense will be, let me make sure. Yeah, here in the kitchen once again. And will the defense be doing more or less the same? The setup seems to be the same. So the rotation hole here. This time, however, the wall will be reinforced. Only 2 reinforcements though. But yeah, they're still adapting and tweaking the recipe. Let's see if they will get a more positive outcome this time.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with you on that statement because in all, it does really come down to how well the attackers and genuinely the defenders can adapt to what each other is giving them. So if they're able to create, like you said, the perfect recipe for their success, then who's to say that they can't tweak their already defeated strategy? But as we walk into the further parts of this round, we are going to be seeing Jaeger grabbing a quick kill on the Zofia. It seems like these two have been at odds with each other the whole map, and Capitao is going to be getting an engagement with Jaeger, getting him down, and with that, it is going to be at least a part of the roam presence being taken away from the attackers, and now the full roam presence from the top floor, all in all, being taken away. And with another engagement, seems like IQ is going to be getting the kill on that castle. And with about a 4v2 situation, it's shaping up to be that Liberty is going to take this round once again on Overnight. So their strategy kind of rendered ineffective, all in all. But regardless, we will see a minute left in the round with a 3v2 situation now. Maestro kind of taking back his power and unfortunately downed once again. So this could be another refrag for the attackers. And it is. And eventually, yeah, it is going to be a 1 round with IQ grabbing the last kill. It's kind of cementing her MVP status for that round, considering that I believe that was a 3K or 3K or 4K.
The one thing I'd like to point out is even though the defense failed again, they did better than last time for the simple fact that they got at least 1 kill. So last round it was a flawless round. This time not so much here. Jaeger getting that 1 kill. That's going to make all the difference in on paper at least, because in practice they still lost that round badly. And to me, they got 2 kills. Share Smoke just sadly not getting a single one when he was in a 1v3 situation. So here, IQ, as you're saying, MVP with 3 kills. I believe maybe even 4, but I would not bet too hard on that. So
I believe it was 3.
uh, yeah, the Overnight team really does have to rethink that strategy. I really like it when teams come up with their own instead of just using that standard strat that everybody uses and that everybody says is good. Like the pro teams at the highest level of play, you don't see those standard strats being played over and over and over again. So it's always nice to see one of those trendsetters team. But in this case, they'll have to rethink their one strats.
Yeah, unfortunately, like you did say, they will have to rethink this strat or possibly tweak it to their liking and to success. But obviously, as the fact is known and the fact remains is that each team is different. So what one strategy might work on one team, another strategy might not. So it's
Oh,
all in the
definitely.
adaptability. Oh yeah, it's all in the adaptability of each team and how well they can adapt to the strategy. And so far, it looks like Liberty is shaping up to adapt to the overnight strategy much better than expected.
And that also kind of brings up, oh, I believe that one outside camera is still seeing Zofia, which is quite unfortunate. She's maybe opening up her defenses to a run out, which Harry here might even be attempting. But I am being sidetracked here. This kind of brings up another level of meta, and it is of, I don't really know how to say it in as few words as possible, but to kind of get to know your opponent in as few rounds as possible to kind of adapt to them, right? So even in ranked or even in these at these levels of play, I would not expect it to be a big factor, but at the pro league level, their best strats will not be used at the first rounds because they want to keep those as a surprise for the later rounds to their opponents. Oh, Guma, death by Guma, and that is unfortunate. but yeah, so they would kind of tend to hide their playstyle or hide some of their strats up until the very last second, which is something then that would confuse an opponent that tries to get to know you and then to adapt to you. So yeah, that is something that we see quite rarely, but it is still a very real phenomenon.
Very real phenomena. Definitely would be agreeing with you on that. Again, you do not see this in this type of level of play. You're going to be seeing it on a little bit of a smaller scale, but nonetheless, we are definitely seeing this adaptability feature coming into play, considering a 2-2 score line now with the defense able to adapt to what the attack is giving them, and hopefully they'll be able to secure a few more rounds as they get to know their enemy better and get to know the attack as much as they possibly can. But going into the fifth round, we are, and I'm pretty interested to see what this site holds for us.
So if we want to look at the setup or the operators here, the composition, it would be about standard for what we expect from the overnight team. So Mute, with the Intel, Jaeger, obviously, Maestro, Lesion, and finally Smoke. And by the Liberty team, I believe they're more or less always using the same operators. From time to time, you'll see a Sledge, which is not present this round. But yeah, other than that, I see no real surprises operators-wise. So with that being said, the playstyle is going to be everything this round. And the one thing already, we see the attackers spawning on all of the sides and all of the different spawn points in order to surround the roamers as much as possible. They're not trying to just funnel their way in through that first objective window to avoid the roamers as much as possible. Has Capital already used a fireball arrow? It seems to be the case. And whoever he was shooting at is no longer there and took absolutely no damage. Probably Lesion, who is the nearest defender, but he does not really seem to be focused on Capital's entry here. He's more cautious about IQ, as he will be droned and subsequently pushed from Fairmeister here.
So we might be able to see an engagement now between the Capitao and Lesion. We are going to be seeing engagement with no kill on strangely enough, but there is going to be some damage brought onto the Lesion and possibly some more pressure from both sides or both entrances to the office. And with the Lesion still in play, it is going to prevent any type of.
Oh.
It is actually going to prevent a bit of a problem for the attackers, as they are going to have to watch an extra exit. And it looks like down from the Thatcher. I'm not quite sure what's
From the smoke.
what the situation. Oh, it is going to be from the smoke. That's my bad. But yeah, it seems like there's a little bit of a misplaced communication there with it. Now a 2v5 with the smoke securing another kill for his team. And with about 120 left on the clock, this does seem like it is going to be a round in favor for overnight, simply.
So, what can you expect here? Not much, honestly, from the Liberty team. Their positions are known. They're running out of utilities. Uribana just tossed her last flash nade, and there's not much she can do. She will, whatever she does, this Eli on her right side will see her, and thus any advantage of surprise will be lost. Peeking against two defenders, that is not good, and here Kapitsao cannot do anything against those pesky Evil Eyes either. So, yeah, I don't see him winning that round. Correct me if I'm wrong. He'll try to go for the rotation to make his position, well, the last known position, obsolete. But nonetheless, with 35 seconds, there's very little he can do. That camera just saw him again. And so they know now that he's kind of running behind those roamers. Does not get the nitro cell, does not get any damage inflicted from the nitro cell either. So, well, nothing happened there. But the timer's running out with 17 seconds remaining. He is not in a good position. He physically has no time to run from one of these defenders to the other and kill them all, so he has to plant the diffuser, but I don't see that happening either. The round is essentially over.
And unfortunately, didn't even go for the kill, and looks like the last 30 seconds of the round is just shaping up to be, oh, in your words, obsolete, truthfully.
So, the one thing
with that,
I'd like to talk about, you were not finished, I jumped in too early. So we saw smoke behind that reinforced shield, that shield. and the deployable shield. And I quite find this quite interesting because it is one of the first times I cast for Go4R since this last update. So it's one of the first times I see the new deployable shield in a Go4. And what are your opinions on that update? So they're kind of dangerous, right? Because they're almost like a weaker Black Mirror from Mira. And this is
Yeah,
why I found them truly terrifying now.
yeah. I mean, I can definitely agree with you on that one. That being considered, though, would it be better to bring shields, or would Mura be rendered ineffective at this point, considering the fact that regardless if she's banned, you can always use those shields, and it basically brings you the same effect. That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's what I had in mind. So, if I take another example to get to the point, um, you have now Bandit, Mute, and Kaid that you can use to protect reinforced walls. So there's too many of them to be able to kind of ban out that playstyle if both teams were to work together on that. And here it's kind of the same thing. You can ban Mira, but the playstyle is from now on always going to be possible because of those deployable shields, and they're truly terrifying. And Mira was kind of banned quite often, so she had a pretty high ban rate. Maybe not that season, but in previous seasons, which kind of tells the story of maybe a borderline OP operator, which really needs to be balanced out or banned out of the map. And now, even though you can still ban the operator, the gameplay is going to be always present. So that's something that we have to accept because they're there to stay, right? So yeah, there's not much to say on that other than I accept this, but they're scary.
For sure, but yeah, agreeing with you on that. If I were to kind of play the opposite point here, Mute, Bandit, and Kaid all kind of have their own different purposes in general, but with Mira and the deployable shield, they kind of serve really the same purpose in general. It's just
Yeah.
that the deployable shields are now more in quantity, and depending on the utility use, they can still be used for the same thing, just depending on really what you want to use them for, or what utility you want to choose in general. So it really comes down to that. And we are going to be seeing engagement between IQ and Mozzie, and Mozzie kind of getting pressured from the home cinema, or yeah, the theater wall. It is going to be a kill for the Habana, kind of cementing that presence now on top floor, and possibly vertical play for Team Liberty Gaming. And one thing that's interesting here is that Overnight keeps on trying to go this site, even though that it's a pretty known fact that they have clearly been losing these sites, or this site in specific, outright. And even though you kind of are forced to go this site, they have been choosing to play out the same type of strategy with another kill from Smoke. And kind of getting back to the conversation though, yeah, it's kind of a ineffective strategy, but they're still trying for it. And with that type of dedication to one strategy, you have to wonder, do they really have any other strategies for that site?
So I don't really know. So if we take a look at their historical data, they've not gone penthouse and home cinema once. Though this bomb site is no longer the favorite bomb site, it once was in previous seasons. So it stands to reason that they would have those previous strats from when that the home cinema or theater, should I say, and penthouse was the prime bomb site, and bringing that to now where you kind of tend to go to billiards and hookah. Well, they definitely do know how to defend that one. But yeah, maybe, and it might just be me who's misreading the situation. But sometimes you do want to get the best strategy possible on a weaker site, in the hopes that your attackers, your enemies in that case, the attackers, know the site even less than you do because you've trained so much on a fairly unknown objective, basically hurting the opponent more than you're hurting yourself in that situation. So this might be why they went kitchen over and over and over again with a clearly custom-made strat for them. Sadly, it did not work out, but that might just be what they were thinking.
Yeah, you could imagine that is the thought process that goes into it, but once that type of thought process is kind of rendered ineffective or depleted in that sense, it becomes really a game of, are you going to keep on trying it, or are you going to accept the defeat and try something different? And so far these guys look like they're attempting the same thing over and over again with the same exact result. And to be fair, that's the definition of insanity. And they are kind of swinging that way. It looks like, considering the fact that they have historically, looking back at the rounds, they haven't really gone penthouse. And
Once, not
like you
once.
said,
Yep.
yeah, not once. They haven't gone penthouse, so they haven't really tried to kind of go through or even cycle through different objectives, try their hand at that. They've just kind of been going back to the same thing. And I feel like that's really just been on them.
I can even do you one more. So we've played 6 rounds so far. 3 of them were kitchen. The 3 others were elsewhere, and the 3 losses that the overnight team has taken were in kitchen. Therefore, their customs-made strat for kitchen definitely is, in its current form, another failure. I cannot really. I don't want to say this any other way, because anything else might just be a disservice to the reality of the situation here. It just does not work, or at least, as you said earlier, not against that team. Against other teams, the results might be different. But as long as you don't have a bulletproof strat, I wouldn't rely on it too much, which is exactly what they did.
For sure, for sure. So, walking into this round, we are going to immediately be seeing a 4v5 situation with Liberty attempting their hand at Intel, but it does get shut down immediately. And with that being said, it does kind of present a double-edged sword to both teams, with the fact that even though Valkyrie is down and out, she still has the ability to watch her cams and even give more intel than she really was before. So with that being said, I mean, is it really a much of a bad thing for a support character like Valkyrie to be taken out of the round this early? I mean, other than the fact that it does hinder the defense's fragging ability, I mean, other than that, what's the real downside? We are going
Well,
to see being engagement with Thatcher and Jaeger, with Thatcher coming out victorious, as the stats do not lie, with now Habana kind of, it seems like she's going to be holding a defensive angle down the white hallway, or the luggage stairs, if you will, and kind of inching her way up, trying to get a possible angle on the Lesion on the blue stairs now, and with another defender on the way of Smoke, trying to get back into Hookah. It does not work for him, and
oh, double
with
kill.
2 kills, yes, it is going to be a double kill for the Lesion. He's immediately going to defuse with Habana trying to walk back into the objective, and it's going to be a double kill for the Maestro, and defenders
Oh,
eventually winning that round out with the ninja defuse.
that was so beautiful. We should have screamed into our mics. Legion getting the double kill. All of the
I
remaining attackers were in that VIP, and with Maestro holding the line with his LMG, just spraying there, forbidding anyone from crossing that doorway. He sadly missed on the last attacker on Zofia, but it was too little too late. The attackers kind of took their time here, so the timer was slowly but surely running out. And yeah, it did work. At the end, they were able to secure a very small portion of the room. As we could see, a defender started were still in the room, and Legion was able to retake that pretty quickly. But the fact that they've planted alone on its own is quite surprising, and a testament to their capabilities. But at the end of the day, they had too little control on the actual diffuser itself, which is why Nixty was able to counter defuse that. So yeah, solid round here.
Yeah, it kind of did go down to the aggression of the defenders and the fact that they were able to take over that. It was genuinely a clutch situation left to the Legion and the Maestro, and when it was up to them, it was a dead round for the attackers at that point, really. They just absolutely reigned in that round. It was beautiful, absolutely amazing. So this does put us at a 4-3 scoreline. Liberty obviously being in the lead. And what can I say about that? I mean, it was an amazing clutch from them, and I definitely would have to say that they tried their hearts out, and look at what it got them. It did get them in the lead with a fairly even scoreline.
I find it just in the smallest amount unfortunate that Hibana has to use the X-Karos to open up that reinforced barricade here, the castle barricade in this case. It is obviously this is what you want from the castle barricade. It is eventually going to fall, but you want to either force the attackers to use up utility or time. So that worked out perfectly. But right now, Maestro is hidden behind one other piece of undestructible wall. And the pressure is going to be coming really shortly. I am kind of surprised, though, that the first ones to receive pressure are both Smoke and Maestro, who are among the last operators who should remain alive. Maestro already is going to be dealt with, so should Raze fall, those active gadgets that you want in late game are going to be gone and done for. As we can see here.
So we actually got a comment in the chat just to kind of bring a conversation to light. Even with the engagement, it is going to be Abana going down. Sorry to take a distraction away from that. But somebody commented in the chat, the lady speaking is illegal, obviously referring to me. So I'm guessing he's referring to the fact that it may not be legal for me to be speaking in terms of ESL rules.
Yeah,
And
so here, as I am an ESL community caster, and as a community caster, I can bring on whoever I want as a co-caster, as long as the actual streaming is done on my approved channel, which currently is the case. So I am taking the perspectives, and obviously I'm streaming on my channel. So it might just be my I don't want to say poor understanding of English, but it might just be my because it is my second language. I thought it was referring to your age. As in, well, yeah, are you legal in that sense? But maybe, once again, I'm just misinterpreting because I'm not...
I mean, it could be either way. It could be either way. Not quite sure, but obviously with the events unfolding in this round, actually quite a lot of kills have been brought to this round already, with another kill going for the castle onto the Zofia. I really did not expect that one to happen that way, but it's going to be Nomad left tab to defend herself, and she kind of is getting pressured here. She does get the kill on castle, and is she able to get the kill on the smoke? And she isn't, unfortunately. The defenders winning out round 8 by the end.
That was a close round. It was kind of the paradox here for a couple of seconds. You had the last attacker here, Nomad, who was on OBJ. The defenders had to get back on side, so the attacker was defending and the defenders were attacking. But Nomad had not the diffuser in her possession, so all that was for naught, and it is why we saw Nomad playing the kill up to the very, very last second. And this almost even ended up working. Had she gotten that one tap with the 44 mag, it would have been so beautiful, but sadly it just did not happen.
It would have been, but unfortunately her accuracy was not good enough to finish off that round for her team, and the round will be going down to Liberty Gaming once again, putting us at a 5-3 scoreline.
So here we can see those paradoxical seconds. Nomad really was trying with an MT ARX, even MT44 here. She could have gotten the beautiful one tap. Just did not work out though in the end. This is now the 9th round, and even though we have a bit of a gap between the two teams, 2 points isn't that much. That small disadvantage can easily be recovered from the overnight team. And should that happen, we would be looking at a very likely overtime situation. With that being said, though, Liberty kind of tend to have one or two to be leading the game with 1 or 2 points pretty much at all times. The only time... No, actually, I am wrong. Overnight got the first round, so Overnight have been in the lead before. That being said, it might happen again. But if you want to just look at the other side of the coin, it shows us that Liberty is capable of winning multiple rounds in a row, since obviously right now they are leading. With that being
statistics
said,
do not lie. Definitely, statistics do not lie. So sorry to kind of take the
I was just gonna say I passed this
casting
up to
away.
you, so you definitely did not
Yeah.
cut off anything important here.
Yeah, but for sure. Anyways, with a 5-3 scoreline, however, though, we are going to be proceeding into our ninth round. And with that being said, it does look like we are going to be getting an interesting bomb site with a blue bar and sunrise. Now, a 4-5 situation. Smoke being taken away from Liberty Gaming side within the first minute of the round. So that's a lot of utility, a lot of round stopping power from the defense being taken away from the round so early, and unfortunately, but nevertheless, it is going to be the proceedings of the round, stone cold facts. Now, with about 140 left on the clock, looking at this, it is going to be Legion holding in Sunroom, and it does look like he's going to be have to holding two angles, not necessarily an angle you kind of want to find yourself in, but he is going to be holding it with Mozzie holding his library side and Sledge trying to get as much of an advantage as he can. He is going to be in Hookah trying to hold Sunrise. Now, depending on what the attack wants to do with this, they can choose to play a lot off of vertical play, but they are going to be at a disadvantage with time. So the duality of their strategy is going to play a big role in the case that they will try to plant.
So right here, Firemaster does not seem to have been spotted. However, he will just flee just too early. Yippe getting a nice kill here. And with that being said, the timer, as you were saying, is slowly but surely running out. The remaining defenders seem to be hunkered up in the A bomb site, which would even leave B open up to a sneaky plant here. Definitely the third defender is roaming, so Nixie has to come back from that kitchen. And Harry gets another kill here, so Yeppe might even be planting really shortly here. As the timer is running out, it is going to be even less and less of a choice and more of an obligation. Though the attackers have the numerical advantage, it seems to me as if the defenders are holding really strong angles here, as they don't appear to have been spotted. However, oh, did he get the kill? He got the kill. Nix is a defender. Okay, I was kind of confused here as we see Legion falling. 1v3 situation. Nixie got a first kill earlier in the round. Will he get another one? On the left, right there. Oh, the opened wall.
Unfortunately does not see him, and that round is going to be going for the attackers. So kind of looking at that round in review. So it really came down to the defender's positioning. So when we speak about that, it in essence, meaning in layman's terms, we can say that the defenders didn't really have the best positioning. Obviously, we saw Jaeger getting refragged out immediately after the kill on Habana, unfortunately, with the Nomad able to get into Sunrise pretty easily, considering that it was uncontested after the Jaeger's hold. And with Legion having tried to retake, it just wasn't a very good situation for him to be in, considering there was already pressure on the library side. So with him rotating, it wasn't really a good idea, being that he wasn't really being held from any other way other than the side which he was looking at, and it did not happen to be a very good situation. And from that, it was just really a pinch that he got himself into, and unfortunately, it all just went downhill from there, leading to a loss for the defenders.
Maestro will be opening up that wall. Usually it would be reinforced, but here apparently we're going for the long lines of sight. And the question is always, where will you be hunkering down to see from the one side to the other, or from the other to the first side? Because I would not expect someone to be just laying prone on that hatch and to be looking at all the way back here. And at the same time, if you want to defend the aquarium, you would typically not really stay put in the hookah site. So this gets me confused. Apparently, we had an attempt to a spawn kill, which did not turn out in the favor of Doug here. Sadly for him, leaving us with the overnight team 4v5 very early in the round. That might be the one and only advantage they need to get the points back to an even playing field. As we can see here, Nomad is already trying to get some pressure on site. However, if nobody peeks the angle, it's not going to be worth much. And at the same time, you don't really want to make too much noise, since the advantage of surprise might be the difference between catching an unsuspected victim and having your opponent shooting back at you. But here, any attempt at stealth will now be gone. The question being, who is she actually trying to get? So Maestro here, maybe Legion if he goes for a rotation. And as we just rotated here, we can see that most of the defenders are close or on the actual objective. There are no pure roamers. Farmeister may be holding a proxy angle, but that just does not work as he gets picked by Harry. 3v5 situation. This is not looking really good for the attackers.
Yeah, I can't agree with you on the statement that you did make, but with now a 5v3 situation is going to be Maestro falling prey to the Thatcher. And that being said, it's up to Smoke and Legion to defend themselves on the objective, as they are kind of pulling out a turtle strat here, both on each different objective. And with rotates being held or rotations being held and the actual sites being pressured on, it's really up to the defenders to play very carefully and possibly outperform the attackers in terms of angles being held. So,
Drone hole. Sorry, I'm cutting you off. I want to see the kill through the drone hole. That would have been perfect. But no, he is just going to survive here as the diffuser gets planted in a 1v4 situation. Overnight's winning the round, and they've lost a player, so they might even want to get that one rehost that they are entitled to. If they ask for it in chat, if not, their player might just reconnect, which would make this a nothing burger, but it's still a situation on which I want to keep an eye on.
so this might be shaping out to be a rehost if the player from Overnight does not come back.
Yep, it is.
Oh, and yep, it is going to look like we're going to get a rehost. So, in
Yes.
between the time of when we're rehosting, I think I shall be right back.
Okay, so no worries. These are the replays which I will not be paying too much attention to because I have, well, the rehost to set up. But here we see Harry finally getting the kill against a Smoke who had very little cover on that particular angle. So let's get the ball rolling. CUS create as a player. And we had a couple of followers today. Thank you all for that. Obviously, when we're casting, we want to keep the UI as clean as possible, which is why they didn't show up. But here, Angie, Embedded Spade, Beast Impact, Cookie, and all of you, thank you for following. So, first of all, let's invite the players with Firemeister on the Liberty team, and on the other team, we have Harry. Oh, here, okay. With the overnights, EP, okay. Pardon? Bon, on reprend 5 à 5. Okay, so we were playing on Coastline. Band operators were Blackbeard, here, Jackal, Mira, and Echo. Thank you. The team names, blue team is Liberty. And overnight. Round history. First round was played in billiards, won by the orange team. Then we went kitchen, blue team, kitchen again, blue team again. Oh, blue team, sorry. Blue team. Then orange team won twice. First in billiards, again, this time in blue bar, which is here. Then sixth round, yes, sixth round, it was kitchen. Blue team winning. Whoa, I am confused here. Let's just make sure. First round, orange win. Then blue twice. Then orange twice. Sixth round is kitchen blue. Seventh is billiards blue. Kitchen blue. And then blue bar, orange team, billiards, orange team. So we should see orange team 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. So orange won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Blue team won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times as well. Blue team appears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They won 3 rounds in a row. Yeah, okay. I would be ready. We'll be resuming 5 to 5. Is everybody ready? Good. Good luck. Have fun. May the best team win. There we go. And we are back. Liberty defending, obviously, since this is where we were. And yeah, good luck, have fun, version 2. I will say that the timing is perfect.
It does. Oh, it does seem to be perfect with now a 5-5 scoreline. Yeah, so this game itself is really seemingly shaped up to be a even game.
Oh, definitely.
Obviously, yeah.
Overtime seems pretty likely.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Would have to agree with you on that one. So if we were to go into overtime, then I believe it is first to. Is it first to 8 or is.
So to go in overtime, you have to be in a 6-6 situation. So should either the team win the 2 next round, that team wins the map. But if it's a 6-6, then it's the first team to 8 points. Indeed. So once you're in OT, the first team who gets 2 rounds will win the map. I really don't know why I cut out. Why I really get I don't know how to say this in English. Why I cut off every word like that. That sounds like a robot, and not really too entertaining. Sorry about that. I am kind of tired. If you can't hear it by my voice, nonetheless, that is not an excuse. We have here. Oh, that's. Is it not a bit too low? Maybe that Evil Eye might even be limited because of the couch. It has been placed very low on the wall. But yeah, it appears, well, the players here said no more rehost, no more rehost. Yeah, every team is only allowed to 1 rehost per map. So the overnight here, even though they've lost another player, they have to play this one through, sadly. So with the 4 to 5 situation, the overnight team will have to be extra cautious on how they want to attack. So Harry and here Chego will be pushing the penthouse together, while we have Xyro and Yipe trying their luck at the the hookah bombs, not hookah, sorry, billiards bomb site. We can see Xio right here. And if you, oh yeah, that's a big danger. The run out, or just even opening up the window, will lead us to the kill by Firemeister. 3 to 5 situation is really not needed here. As we can see, the run out is going to get another kill. I was barely too late on that, however, to see the kill itself. The last player has reconnected back. That oh, damn it, I'm tired. That shield will be destroyed, but it's just not enough to get into the objective. In a 2v5 situation, that is not going to be good for the overnight team. Liberty here is in a very good position. However, the one thing you'd want in that line of sight, the ACOG will not be available, as we have Maestro who's not holding that angle. Harry, however, is, and he'll try to push on forward. He barely misses that one kill on mute, however, or smoke, sorry. That's quite unfortunate. Every stroke of luck they can get, they will need. And yeah, that's not looking too good for them. I kind of had the feeling you were gone. Are you back?
I am back, indeed.
Good.
But
do you want to take
I wasn't. Yeah, I will take the reins here, but no, a 4v2 situation looks like Amana might have the chance, if she is stealthy enough, to put us in to possibly an even level-headed situation with about 1 minute left on the clock. This team does not have very many options in terms of what they want to do for the objective, so they are going to possibly have to take a chance and maybe rush the objective or funnel into those predictable types of doorways and windows that the defense is going to obviously be expecting. With now a 3v2 situation, Legion trapped Sledge is going to possibly be killed. Yes, he is going to be taken advantage of by the Legion himself, and giving the defenders round 11 now. We are going to be seeing a match point situation with 6-5.
Yeah, and as well, I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, as we get that kill, the Gooman got the second kill. This was quite unfortunate for the attackers, as we had their fifth player here for the overnight team who joined back in and who lost connection again. That is really quite unfortunate. And therefore, that might be it here for the overnight team. They're playing at a disadvantage, and it really does show when both teams are on an equal playing field. Every slightest disadvantage might just be the end of it, and it is exactly what we're seeing right now. So there we go for the replays. And for possibly the last round, we will go, drum roll please, in the kitchen, that kind of haunted bomb site for the overnight team. They really had no luck there previously, or actually they have never had luck there, no matter if they were attacking or defending the site.
For sure. So, yes, at a 6-5 scoreline, it does look like Overnight is at a disadvantage and at odds to, sorry, lose out this round with now a 4v5. And yes, like you said, the 4v5, especially with any disadvantage they can get, it is going to show throughout the round, most likely, as last round, same proceeding happened, and look who won, Liberty. So, hopefully we will be able to see some type of advantage coming from Overnight, maybe a feed, maybe a fragging situation, but other than that, I can't really see any other way that Overnight could win.
Maybe they'll just have that one great attack. Maybe they'll just outflank every roamer and find that tiny angle on every hankering defender. But that still has to happen. And once again, we can see Chego using X-Karos to open up that castle barricade. Once again, I find it mildly sad to see Hibana using that precious resource to open up a mere castle barricade, especially considering that you do have a sledge on the team. But once again, that's what castle barricades are for. They will be destroyed eventually. All you can hope to accomplish with them is either to gain time or to force the attackers to use up some resources, which is exactly what happened here. We can see Maestro roaming in billiards. This is an interesting realm, considering that the objective is in kitchen. Should the bombs be on Pentas, I understand why you want to have somebody up here, but especially considering Maestro is a heavy operator, and especially considering you want to keep him alive to use those evil eyes. I find it interesting that they decided to send him there out of all of the operators who could go roaming. For example, once Castle's barricades are in place, he's free to roam and to, I don't want to be pessimistic, but he's free to die and you will lose nothing but a gun. Should you lose Maestro, however, you lose both the player of the gun and the evil eye.
Right, and we are going to be seeing Nomad holding on the delivery doorway, trying to get an angle on the Jaeger probing objective for that intel, and our first kill in the round is going to be for Smoke, putting us at a 4v4 situation, so no advantage for either team in this round proceeding, and with Castle being left with very little health, it does look like the advantage is actually going to be going towards Overnight just through the health advantage, and Legion holding on the main floor. Looks like Hot Drop is going to be proceeding into security room, and the castle might be at odds to lose an engagement if the Thatcher were to get the kill, and that is exactly what happens with the Thatcher getting the kill, but Legion got a, I believe, a refrag for one of the attack players, and with a 3-3 situation, about 30 seconds remaining, the attack is going to have to pull out some hasty moves if they want to win out the round, with Harry getting a double kill. And unfortunately, it is going to be left up to the Nomad to plant the diffuser and get the kills for the round. She prevents herself from defusing, trying to get another kill. She knows she's going to have to push this Legion if she wants to win out the round, and that is going to be the end with the attackers winning? Oh, the attackers won that. My bad.
Yeah, with the attackers winning and thus making it so that even with the 4-5 disadvantage, Overnight is not yet out of the game.
Oh, that's my bad. I'm tired. I got tongue-tied. I really thought the defense was going to win there.
Well,
uh,
that would have been quite the spectacle. He was in a 1v3 situation, but there were only 10 little seconds remaining. You could see she was planting right behind the reinforced wall. Should he have been able to just go for the quick knife, he might even have won that round, but no, Harry was there covering his teammate, and that was all that was needed to win the round here. So Overnight, even with their numerical disadvantage, are able to win the one round, and therefore we will be looking at overtime. From here on, everything
for
is
sure.
possible, but once again, that numerical disadvantage is not going away. The one player that is having connectivity issues is having, well, intermittent connectivity issues. He joins back in and loses the connection again. So he's here about half the time but never plays. That is really unfortunate and must be really frustrating for him.
Well, regardless, Overnight has been able to keep their stake in the game and keep on playing regardless of, or just, yeah, regardless of the one-man connection out. So thankfully for Overnight, they have been able to present the plays and outperform the expectations that really we've been giving them at this point.
Yep, definitely. I am surprised to see them still there, but that is a testament to their tenacity and to how much they really want to win this. So, for this time, not the last round, it would have been the last round, possibly for quite a few of them now, but with overtime, that quick possibility of quick victory is now gone. We can see that Vigil got a couple of hits into him already, so he's been playing a bit too aggressively. He might have tried something he shouldn't have. Maybe a spawn kill, but I'm not entirely sure. And the question is always going to be, what are the attackers up to? So will Overnight try to go for the anti-roaming first, or do they want to get into the objective really, really quickly and thus avoid exposing themselves to the roamers? The answer is going to be all of the above. It kind of seems like it. So here, Chego wants to find a quick way into the OBJ. But Sledge got killed by one of the roamers, it seems like. And here, that wall not being reinforced was an easy pick for those X-Kairos through the wall. That is quite unfortunate. And we can see the see-through slits in that shield, which would have allowed Raze to get one of those mirror-style peek here, but his opponent is just no longer there. Hibana bringing the diffuser outside, and she apparently wants to link up with Yepe, who might even just be able to get into the objective. It's not going to be easy, but it's not impossible either.
For sure, and it is going to be Nomad trying to take the engagements as she is attempting to wide swing on blue stairs, maybe get the kill on an unsuspecting Lesion with an obvious disadvantage going for the attackers, and an attempt at hookah doesn't really seem to be fulfilled currently with about 1 minute left on the clock. They are going to have to make some decisive decisions if they want to win out this round, and currently it just seems like they're holding dead angles. Angles that are eventually going to get them killed if they keep on holding them with about a 4-3 situation now. Claymore getting the kill for the Vigil and ending his life. We are going to be seeing now the Thatcher trying to take the advantage on the Maestro. He does get the kill on him and putting us at a 3v3. This might be an advantage, and it is not, unfortunately. Is the Smoke able to get the kill? And another kill for the Lesion to finish off the chances, it seems like, but it is not with the 2v1 situation. The Diffuser is down on the other side of the map, though, so it is up to Nomad. She is going to have to get the rest of the kills for the round if she wants to win, and so far it does not seem like she is going to be able to with about 4 seconds left, and yeah, that is a dead round for the attack. But
I believe it's
is
like the second
one.
time this has happened. Is it possible that Overnight ran out of time once before, and I don't know, it was Liberty. The roles were swapped, but the outcome was the same. Do you remember that Capitao that just went running upstairs looking for a Roma that wasn't there in the last 10 seconds, and that cost him the round? It kind of reminds me of that previous round here. They were out of time, didn't have diffuser, just didn't really know where the opponents were. Attackers dropped the diffuser. And that's pretty much what happened here. Noma was able to get a couple of kills, one actually, and just because of the goo mines, because of the few or too little time remaining, that was the end of it prematurely. Since she hadn't been killed, she hadn't actually lost an actual firefight.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Sorry, I'll just...
To make a bright side of that of the rest of the round, I guess you could say that seeing as there was no firefight, there was no firefight to be lost.
Yeah, you always have to look on the silver, to look for the silver lining. Because if you focus on what went bad, it's one thing, right? You have to see what not to do again. But if you look for your strengths, then you can play on them. So it's kind of back and forth between optimism and pessimism, but you do have to keep an eye on both of these factors.
For sure.
So for this possibly final defense, we'll have here an odd reinforcement of these walls. Obviously, there's an evil eye on the left-hand reinforcement panel, but the whole wall isn't reinforced, so Ash could still hypothetically come in from that side with the reinforced panel, obviously to cut off any visibility from that window, though it hasn't been used that much that game. So it might just be Overnight going for the strat they know rather than really to try to adapt. It has its merits and its disadvantages. Obviously, when you always keep the same strat, or if you don't adapt to your enemies, should they keep on adapting, then you'd be left at a disadvantage. But we can see here, Legion roaming already has taken a bit of damage, and he is with Harry here. So the roaming game will be two-sided, or two-pronged. And that will make it so that if the one should be neutralized, well, there's always a possibility to get the refrag. And they don't appear to have been identified. We also have Chego, who isn't exactly on the objective, leaving us with Xyro, only one on site. Should the Liberty team here push him hard, he could be done for pretty easily, to be honest here. Offering will be droning, and he'll realize exactly that. You can just walk right into the objective. The only one you have to take care of is that Mute, who almost got the wallbang headshot here, but oh, Ash gets in, gets a first kill, will get a second one. Should she have the diffuser, she could even be planting right now with the only two remaining players are roamers. That is really not looking good. Their only hope is to hold off the bearer of the diffuser, but Raze is really not in a position to be held off by any of those roamers. And as we can see here, Liberty winning the round with a flawless round. Solid plays here.
Definitely solid plays coming from Liberty, and a great round to finish off the game for themselves with now an 8-6 scoreline. Hard-fought victory, would have to say indeed. And I mean, I can definitely say that that was a not necessarily a blowout game. Would not have to say that's a blowout game. It was a very hard-fought game from both sides, and unfortunately, due to the disadvantages brought from the Overnight team, connectivity issues, and just the overall loss of momentum, it was from the 5-5 scoreline.
Well, especially considering their connectivity issues, that the game even went in overtime and that it lasted that long, in and of itself is a testament to the skill level of the Overnight team. But that is just not going to be enough. Once again, had we been in a 5v5 situation, the results might have been different. Probably could have been a 7-7 situation before we had the final point being scored here by Liberty, or maybe even by them. But that is going to be it. And yeah, so we already know who is going to be playing next. As the players said in the in chat previously, it is the Jokes on You team. So we will do the official-ish, well, not official-ish, the official paperwork by announcing, first of all, to the players that will be casting them, and secondly, to the casters, so that there's no confusion as to who casts which game. So here we go. And that should go pretty quickly. So we only have to wait for the players to upload the results and the anti-cheat files before we can go on with the next map. Oh yeah, with the map ban phase as well, but that should really not last for too long. So there we go. That is now done. Let me just update the in-game overlays or the stream overlays real quick. The overnight team is now Jokes on You team. And they're not from Mexico, but from the US. There we go. Let's update this. And yeah, so looking back at it, what is your impression or what would you like to add on the game that we just saw?
Nothing that I really haven't said before. I would have to say that they both fought their hearts out, and it really went down. I genuinely believe that it really went down to the disconnectivity issues.
This is really unfortunate since the connectivity issues are not skill based. It is part of the game. Obviously, there's other than being on a LAN setting, there's no real way to get rid of them. And even on a LAN, you can have a power outage or a computer blowout. But yeah, it is real unfortunate, but that happens just as I could say physical injuries happen in traditional sports. It's sad, but it does have an impact on the game. So yeah, I'll just keep an eye on the match setting to see when the map ban will be done or when, first of all, the previous game files will be uploaded. And yeah, we will be more or less open to just have a chat with the chat. Sounds redundant, I know. In the meantime, because it's not really worth going into the be right back screen for that. So yeah, or maybe it's just my opinion. Maybe you want to go into the be right back screen.
If possible, because I'm having a quick bite to eat, so I won't be able to talk. But if you would like
I see.
to speak with the chat, that's perfectly fine.
Well, it's to keep it entertaining and engaged because here we already have the results being uploaded. The previous map, I mean. So the map ban should start really shortly. And yeah, well, it is really hard to keep an engaged audience with the stream because of the 4.5 minutes delay. But nonetheless, saying anything as long as it's mildly interesting is going to be preferable to saying basically nothing. So yeah, the Jokes on You team here for reference. Let's see, Jokes on You has been seeded 82nd, whereas Liberty was seeded 50th. Um, Here, remind me really quickly, the lower you are on the seed, the better you're statistically supposed to be, right?
Yep.
So, should that be the case, it is quite surprisingly that Jokes on You has beaten, the 82nd team has beaten the 47th team, and then the 18th team. So, I don't know the teams in depth, but I would bet that something along the lines of they're a new team, so the algorithm doesn't really know them that well yet. I'd bet something along those lines is happening here because there's absolutely no reason why they're seeded 82nd, especially if they're able to beat up the 18th team. So, Liberty Gaming so far have had the expected outcome. And this is why I believe this one is going to be one of their toughest opponent so far. Is the game already lost for them? No, not at all. But definitely they might have a bit more difficulties against the Jokes on You team than against any other teams they've faced tonight so far.
Mm. To add a quick comment on that, in reality, the seeding system is actually pretty inaccurate because of the fact that new teams get seeded differently than old teams, and for the most part, Go4 is just the basis of new teams. So you can't really get an accurate reading on the seed if you have a team play in two Go4s and then not play for like 3 months and then go back to it.
Yeah, and it is
So,
ESL,
yeah.
not Rainbow Six, so they can't really get the matchmaking as accurate as possible because they can only base their matchmaking on previous Go4s, which is why exactly as you just said, new teams are going to be inaccurately placed, and since most of the teams are new teams, it is really hard to get an accurate making system here. But nonetheless, here we will have Embedded Spade representing the Jokes on You team. And for the Liberty team, as previously, Firemeister will be their captain, I believe. Or at least the one guy invite. Um, we're asking, is Liberty a Quebecer team? Yes. Yeah, they're French Canadian, and that is honestly kind of why I picked them. There's so few French Canadians in those Go4s. As a French Canadian myself, right? This is why I picked them. And we'll be playing Bank. By the way, this will be our last map of the day. Since it is getting not yet late, but yeah, map is at most, or at least an hour. And yeah, we do have things to do tomorrow, since tomorrow is no longer the weekend, sadly. Who else was in the game last time? Raze? I'm not sure if Gecko was there. No, I don't think he was. For context, the Liberty team has presented this Go4 two rosters. The one is seated 50th, and the other one is seated a bit further down, number 92. So I just want to make sure I don't confuse the one player of the one roster with the player from the other roster, because then I would be inviting the wrong person. So the guys are logging in. That is good. Team names: Liberty and Jokes on You. Let's just take a moment to appreciate how many of these team names in Go4 are absolute jokes or trolls, or not really, say, serious team names. We've seen We Never Run Moss as a team name. We've seen Creds for Skin, Team Throw, and this is. I have absolutely no problem with this. Obviously, since the players are serious and everything goes in order, you can play under the banner or under the name that you want. But the level of creativity in some of these names is astounding, considering you have so many or so few words to work with, since you have to keep it short. I really love to see some of the names and some of the team logos that we have. If I was to be curious here, since it's kind of a waiting game, the players are connecting, it's going to take 5 minutes at most. But that's just enough to browse, and let's go into that screen. Should be just enough to browse. For example, what is this guy here? I find some of these logos so funny. None of them are inappropriate, so none of them are going to be showing nudity or gore or anything too graphic. Big Chungus here, total meme name. Seed 64, so they have to have played previously. E-Girls, that seems to do not donut with a glass here. I kind of like these things. Are they all connecting so far? We are still waiting for a couple of the Liberty guys here for fun with Minecraft themed logo. So yeah, only have Jokes on You. Obviously, this is Miley Cyrus, I believe, with a chicken body. Yeah, I might just be laughing on my own here. Maybe I'm the only one finding this probably Silvers. Like, for real, Silvers won't be playing it Go4, so that's really hilarious as well. Tachanka's concubines, okay. Like, these are serious team names and serious logos. They're really nice as well. But to be honest, the joke names really stand out to me. For example, the Senate, Ricardo's. That's funny as well. And yeah, Boomer Squad. Go for credits. Gimme please. Wow. Wow, so let's come back in here. And we had a follower, Frizzle Fry. Thank you for following. Welcome to the channel. And we should be ready shortly here. We're only
All right.
waiting for two more players.
Yes. And as they are ready, I am. Ooh, wow. I don't think I've ever eaten a burger faster in my entire life.
You ate a full burger in those 2.5 minutes?
Uh,
Wow. Okay.
I have, and it was a
Okay,
really big burger
respect.
too. It was a really
Respect.
big burger. It was a big burger.
Wow.
I also ate baked beans with it too. That was, oh my god. I was like eating in between rounds. Oh my god. It was, cause I had to eat it. There was no other way. Like I was looking at it and it was so good. It looks so. I
Yeah.
couldn't resist it.
Voilà, ça vous de regarder, vous pouvez le voir d'une façon ou d'une autre, je sais pas. Yeah, so sorry, the players were asking me if... Je sais pas. J'ai pas la perspective d'un joueur. Yeah, so the players were asking me in French just to translate real quick. Um, yeah, just to translate, just so you understand what was happening. He asked me if you guys were using ESL Wire, and I don't have the access that you guys have to the game or to the in-game files. So,
I see. Yeah, we're all running it.
all right, yeah. Yeah, sorry, I don't really know how the perspective or how the software works for the players. I don't do Go4R6 myself since I cast them, so I'm not as familiar with ESLWare and those software as you guys are. Sorry.
Oh,
Um,
you guys only got two people logged into
I played Go4
just so you guys know.
Okay.
a
Yeah,
couple times.
I've played I think like once or
Let
twice,
me tell you, give me a second.
Mhm.
like a long time ago. The
Yeah.
thing is, you have to have a team, and
Guilty and Hawks Valve.
when you're when you're doing streams and doing YouTube videos and the like, you don't have time to practice with teammates for those
Yeah, it's
competitions.
one or the other.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately. Like the perfect thing would be
Wait, I'm not
like a streamers
Opera and
team
Hawks.
of
Oh,
for to go forth.
I mean,
Then
the
everybody
Opera.
would call me you. Thanks, man. I'll remember that. Yeah. So Yushan, we'll have to call him you. It will be easier for us.
You could just check on the Go4 match.
Yeah, you guys aren't logged in.
And you know what? I will go just refill my water bottle since that much water is not gonna hold out for the rest of the game. So I will leave you with the chat. That's a
Woo!
big responsibility. All right, be right back.
All right. All right. So let's actually take a quick look at the. I believe Hans has done this before, but I shall do it myself. So to take a quick look at the Liberty Gaming seed versus the Jokes on You seed. So it is going to be the 50th seed versus the 82nd seed, but obviously, as I stated before, the seeds aren't exactly accurate to the actual skill level of the team. We've seen this before, considering the fact that an 82nd team seed can get into round of 32, most likely going on to one of them at least going on to round of 16, and the fact that um Imperium around 63rd seed can go to round of 32. So obviously seeds do not dictate skill level. You can't really I guess accurately predict the seeds and versus skill level. It's just not possible really unless you're 1 through 10 and you make it to round of like or quarterfinals, something like that. But nonetheless, looking at these two teams going up against each other, one obviously being a representing Canada, French Canada, as Hans has stated, and the other one representing the USA. So it to the looks of it, it looks like Jokes on You has participated in quite a lot of Go4s in the past few weeks. So 182, 184, 185, and 186. Over the past 3 weeks, they have been participating in the Go4s with pretty high seeds by the looks of it. So in the 184, they were able to get 12th. The 186, they were able to get 18th. So, I mean, that speaks quite a lot in terms of their skills. So, that being said, if we compare them to Liberty Gaming is only um, has only come for 3 Go4s, and they have been getting varying results from 86 to 76 to 15th place. So it is a pretty steep increase in the actual skill level from represented from the placing that they got from each Go4. And so by the looks of it, statistically, Jokes on You does technically have the advantage with the higher amount of Go Fours played and the higher placements on each Go 4. But regardless, that doesn't necessarily predict skill or the fact that, one team can do better against another team versus, another team getting 7-0'd. It just really depends on the adaptability of the team, the strategies that they pull, the types of, obviously, the types of players they are versus each team. And it really does come down to that. And I believe you got back. All right. I was just reiterating the seeding accuracy, and the statistical odds of Liberty Gaming versus Jokes on You, which in the end, I believe you heard I said Jokes on You does have the advantage, statistically, on Liberty Gaming. For sure. So, actually, looking at one of the players' stats, they were level 209 and had a 1.5 win loss and 1.5 KD. So, I don't know about you, but I have not gotten to 209 levels and was able to keep up a 1.5 KD plat 3 average, especially on PC. So, I honestly think looking at that guy's stats, just purely stats, that if he does not play a support role, if he chooses to play a fragger role, that he will have a great amount of success walking into this map.
We're logged in. I could check the website. Our team's logged in. You guys are missing two people.
Who's missing? Can you send this the website cause we don't see?
Honestly, we don't even care, bro. If you guys want to start, we'll go.
Firemeister
Yeah,
and
we-
Ray, you guys aren't
Oh,
logged
Fire.
in.
Wait, who? Who else?
You
Say
can't
that
launch
two
your
times.
game. You have to
I-
launch it through the.
Shoot, my mic was muted the whole time.
I'm trying
Shoot.
to launch it,
Okay,
but
I
like,
muted it when I
not
left and I
keep
did not
it's
unmute it
lagging,
when I
so,
joined back in.
and
So the good news is I did not talk too
if
much
you don't
since I joined back in.
start, like, you'll see that we are not cheating or anything. Like, we're getting cast for 3 games.
But yeah, so the Liberty players, they're not running ESL War for the one of them isn't, if I'm listening to what they're saying, and this is quite annoying because obviously you have to, if not, you open up yourself up to a protest. If you want to start it, it's up to you, but obviously you open yourself up to a protest if you're not using wire. So it's their choice.
For Oxen is on the website, and it's saying that we are all connected from ESL.
All right. I mean, are you guys running Moss at least?
So I'm just listening to what they're saying right now.
We are running it, yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll play then.
Yeah, we will play. Like,
Okay.
we'll see. We'll see.
The website's probably fucked then, if we're both seeing that we're not.
All right. So should I start?
Yeah, you can start.
All right. Good luck. Have fun. May the best team win. And yeah, let's jump into that view.
Alrighty.
It is always.
So we are going to be on Bank. Ooh.
Yep.
Bank. Bank is a very interesting map. What can I say about Bank offhand? Well, it does have a spotlight objective, being the downstairs lockers CCTV room, or yeah, I believe locker CCTV room. Or yeah, the locker CC. And other than that, I can definitely say that it being a 3-floor map, there's a lot of opportunity for rotation, flanking, and that such, being the fact that it's not necessarily a predictable map, has a lot of twists and turns, and the hallways aren't necessarily uniform, so there's a lot to that, in terms of hiding spots and roaming. So hopefully we'll be able to see a lot of efficient roaming coming from each team, and a lot of vertical play. Definitely a whole lot of vertical play that can be utilized from really each side. Obviously, open area hatch, the heaven hatch, and just all different types of hatches from first floor to even second floor. So, definitely a lot of different factors that go into the win or possible loss of each round, and hopefully we'll be able to see those factors being used throughout the game. So yeah, we obviously, just taking a quick look at the bands, we are going to be having very bands, really. We're going to be seeing Thatcher, Jackal, Mira, and Echo. So I like that Thatcher does get banned, though. He's kind of a wild card character type kind of ban, because I mean, obviously, there's a reason about utilizing the ban of Mira, Jackal. They're the go-to bans, but Thatcher, he's not necessarily a ban that you would want to have on your team. He's a very useful operator for many different types of uses. The type of utility denial he brings to the table is absolutely unprecedented. It's unrivaled in that matter. So, that being said, it's a lot of factors are going to have to go into
Defenders, protect your
the
bombs from being defused by
output
attackers.
of utility that can replace Thatchers.
So, the one thing I really like here, well, obviously Thatcher was banned by Jokes on You, the team that's defending, and they do not want to have any type of counter to the Kaid they're bringing up. So for them, you were talking about the verticality earlier. For them, verticality is a problem, or at least that's how they're acting. They want to protect those reinforced hatches as well as possible, which is why Kaid will probably use the Electro Claws against them. I really don't know why he was upstairs, though. I would rather tend to have those roaming operators that will remain upstairs anyways, or even those faster operators reinforcing. And that's Electroclaw. That's quite interesting. I've never seen Kaid use an Electroclaw on those parts of the map, on that hatch, especially since the attackers should just be able to take servers pretty easily, and from that point on, the Artilla is as good as gone.
Yeah, so it's actually quite interesting to see the fact that Kai does put an Electroclaw on that hatch specifically, considering the fact that Electroclaws are usually used for the open area hatches rather than the Heaven, because the Heaven hatch can be used for the actual defenders and can be utilized in their favor, but we're going to be seeing Maverick immediately taking out the open area or the office hatch from first floor, so he is going to be getting a bit of an advantage onto the CCTV already out from the gate, and we're going to be seeing a lot of the attackers going for Heaven and blue stairs. So Ella's kind of left have to defend herself here.
Those blue stairs will be a problem here. Ella, with a shotgun as well, is going to be in a very good situation in that close range. Her shield has been destroyed, however, that is not good. As she gets pushed, the pre-fire straight with this FO12. And now there's, oh no, this fire is going to push her back though, so she's no longer in the ideal range of her shotgun, but nonetheless, she's not going to be backing down whatsoever. That Grismouth mine will be buying her some time as the drone gets destroyed, and now Capital's out of fire, and she might even just run right up, since the smoke will be covering her. Right now, she's back here again. Oh no, that flash. She survives. Will she get the kill? First kill. Will she get the double? Apparently not. We have here a refrag situation with Jaeger, who will just move in to get the refrag, but that also does not work out. It's already a 2-4 situation. The defenders were able to wreak havoc on the attackers, even though the attackers were able to soften up the defenses. For example, that hatch has been opened up. But yeah, Raze is not really in a position to jump down, as it seems. So if you look right here, however, he might even be able to do it. But he'd be at a dead angle, for example, for Jaeger here. And for Smoke, he'd be surrounded pretty quickly, but it would be possible. At the same time, we have IQ, who is going downstairs, the server room here. Firemeister hoping to sneak into the objective, but not if you has anything to say about it, and he's holding a very tiny line. The timer is also running out, so that's not going to be a good news for them, and Z-Bot got the kill on Raze at the very same moment. That was the first round for Jokes on You.
Yeah, actually quite the first round for Jokes on You, considering the positioning and utility use of each defender. So kind of looking back at the round in reviews. So obviously there was the pretty obvious use of the smokes, the Ella, how she was able to prevent and really waste time for the attackers. It was quite a lot of time that she actually wasted, probably about a minute and a half before she was actually pressured and killed, considering that the attacker's main priority was Heaven. And the fact that they actually didn't take the opportunity to go through Dirt Tunnel kind of surprises me, especially because Heaven even being a big priority for them, they did not decide to go the traditional route, which would be going through Dirt Tunnel, going through the server room, and picking up the picking up the hard breach on the CCTV room. So kind of interesting from that point, but nonetheless, I did like to see how the Ella wasted time, and I did like to see the utilization of Smoke's gas grenades, especially towards the end of the round.
So with all of that being said and done, we'll have here another defense, this time with very little, actually no heavy operators at all. So possibly a bit more of a mobile defense. Maybe we'll see a bit more heavy roaming, or at least more flanking, even if we're not talking hard roaming. Nonetheless, so the Mirror Black Eyes are going to be the big difference between last time. This time they will have eyes and they'll know where the attackers are coming from. IQ, however, could mitigate that quite a bit, and finally mute to prevent the intel, to protect the reinforced walls, to be able to protect more reinforced walls, since Bandit on his own only has 4 batteries, which are going to be placed on all of these reinforced walls. So we see very few roamers though. Almost all of them. Oh, late reinforcement. That's a bit risky though. We see. I don't know. Mute is gonna be roaming, so that's unexpected. I would expect Jaeger to not be on site and to use his 3 speed to his advantage, but apparently not. Nonetheless, we will see how it works out. First of all, we are always going to be suspicious of any roamers, so this is why IQ was turning her attention towards those stairs, but that does not seem to be the focal point of her attention, or at least not for too long. So Zbot, even though he had a small window of opportunity to run back up, he's just not going to use it. Offering gets a nice kill here, and oh, he was putting a bit of pressure on the objective, but it's just not enough to get a kill or to actually really insist on it. Zbot here will be coming back up slowly but surely, and as far as I can tell, there's no claymore at the top of the staircase, so he for right now has a good advantage, but he will have to remain on the spot because of that lion, and that's just not a good position to be in. Nonetheless, he gets a nice double kill. Nitro Cell will get that raise off. All of that leaves us with IQ in a 1v3 situation. That's just not good. And we can see behind him, or behind her, should I say, and right in front. Oh, she had no idea Xeno got picked off here. But yeah, we do have that roaming Mute. Zbot will be running back up this staircase, or maybe even not. So here IQ does not have the diffuser and has very little health, and she's, to be honest, probably pinged right now. So they pretty much know where she is, and that's just not a good position to be in.
Yeah, she could possibly get flanked on both sides depending on how Smoke and Mute wants to play this with about 45 seconds left on the clock. She doesn't really have a lot of room to play around, so haste is going to have to be one of her specialties walking into the rest of this time, and with the clock ticking down, she doesn't really have very many options, and she might have to take on some face-to-face engagements if she wants to win the round, but we are going to be seeing a possible engagement, and she wins it out with Smoke getting the final kill on her and finishing out the round.
That would have been beautiful had we seen that double kill. Because honestly, the thing I expected was for Mute to remain downstairs to make sure that she physically does not have enough time to run from the one opponent to the other, should she have gotten those nasty kills, which almost ended up happening. But yeah, Mute just coming closer and closer to his ally Smoke kind of was a risk here, which almost cost him the round, and that would have been beautiful. Zbot's double kill here was solid as well. So yeah, nice try from IQ, which was barely not enough. She was in a 1v3 situation as well, so let's not forget it wasn't a 1v2 but a 1v3 from which she almost came back of. So yeah, nicely tried, nicely played. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be a better luck next time situation.
Yeah, I definitely can agree with you on that one, but I would have to commend Zbot, especially the expected MVP of that round, or the expected MVP of the game for that round being MVP, because obviously with the double kill and then the triple kill for the Nitro Cell. So I personally, watching that, I was kind of in disbelief as to how the attack didn't really spot him quicker and didn't really communicate to the team that the Mute was in that position. So a bit of a miscommunication and a skill, kind of a skill deficit there for the attacking team versus the defending team in the situation of the Mute. But nonetheless, as we get into the third round, it is going to be a 2-0 situation for Jokes on You versus Liberty Gaming, and I'm excited to see what these next few rounds hold, honestly.
So right here, this is going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, the bomb site is going to be on archives and tellers, but we have some roamers on the first floor. We have a roamer in the basement. I'm not sure who it is, however, or even if he's still there. So yeah, we have Zbot roaming downstairs. A very, very widespread roaming. It's not as if... Well, the point of a roamer is to position yourself between the attackers and the objective to kill off as many as possible. If you can get that thermite, then you can even help your team way more than just the simple math of a kill for a kill. But right now, it kind of seems as if they are not really calculating where the push is going to be coming from, since you have people roaming upstairs and downstairs. Firemeister is going to be here surprised by Zbot. Zbot, however, does not get the kill, and Firemeister is just going to ignore that and walk away. Apparently not, but he seems to be hesitating, which is good news if you're rooting for team for jokes on you because any other of those defenders who are on the first floor could just rotate back behind Firemeister, but finally it's just gonna be the Pulse Peak, the Pulse Strafe here, which will get the kill. And oh no, using that gadget at the wrong time will be lethal, especially when you're talking about IQ here. So it's 2 lives for 1 offering. Probably was able to flush out the roamer up top. So yeah, Capcan was on the second floor. Even though he's still alive, he's no longer roaming, and he's back on OBJ, the predictable spot for him to be on. And that would be good news if Buck still had some frag grenades, but he's out of utility, which is going to be limiting for him. So he really will have to go for those face-to-face, more or less, firefights. And if you see your enemy sees you. And that is just a nasty way to eliminate somebody that's downed. Wow.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate ending for the IQ there, but expected considering that now the refrag for the Buck, and that is karma for the Legion there, but we're going to be seeing a 30-second round remaining, and the attackers are going to have to play very hastily and make very big decisions here if they want to win out this round, because they are definitely going to have to take the advantage some way or another. And with this proceeding of the round with the 1v2, it's up to Thermite now to have to defend himself and attack, and unfortunately does not happen as I believe the smoke is able to kill him. Sorry, that ending was a little bit out of energy. I'm quite tired, as we can imagine.
I have realized, sorry, I've been distracted as well, because I've realized the stream is in followers only mode, which is absolutely not what I want, because that's to me it seems kind of elitist-ish, like, oh, you have to be my gang to be able to talk. So I must have enabled it through a keyboard shortcut by error, and I was trying to figure out how to disable that. But since I've never enabled that setting willingly before, I don't know where it is. So sorry for, well, this is not the kind of stream that drives the most attention or the most engagement. People look without really talking most of the time, but nonetheless, I wanted to disable that, which is something I'm gonna do right as the replays are gonna be over.
A bomb has been located.
Since I will let you take care of the prep phase. During that time, I will try to find that one setting and to disable it. So, there you go.
All right. Yeah, so taking the reins here now, we are going to be going back to downstairs, a pretty prime spot for the defense, putting us at now our 4th round in the game. And honestly, I really like the proceeding of this game so far, especially because the defense has just been performing stellarly. I mean, absolutely out of this world. It's been an amazing game for them, and hopefully they feel just as proud as I do for them, because they have been positioning themselves in the perfect ways to where in most engagements they don't necessarily even have to lose health, and they can use their utility to their advantage, and a lot of refrags have been just going down for them, and I'm honestly happy that they've been able to have this type of performance regardless of the team. But as we get into the round, the attackers are already going to be getting into the map here, as we see, or into the building, as we see that Ella's gonna have to defend herself once again, this time with the aid of a shield. Oh, the shield getting taken down very quickly. Ella putting up a trap to her defense, and yeah, it is gonna end up being the defenders trying to defend themselves for the reign of the attackers, and putting us at a 44. Refrags going down immediately as Ella gets fragged out for Maverick now. So Maverick being a very, very big hatch player. 1 hatch has already been achieved for the attack, but nonetheless, it is... or sorry, 2 hatches have already been achieved for the attacking side, and the Maverick actually has been able to use his abilities, so at this point he kind of is null and void to the rest of the round, and for that he can't necessarily be fragged out, but not the best situation for him to be in, I guess you could say. But yeah, it looks like vertical play is definitely going to be utilized here for the attack. And this time they have been able to pull out the plan of a hard breaching attempt onto the bomb. So thankfully they have been able to get farther this round than they have the previous round. So definitely does show progress on their part. With about a minute left on the round, though, they are going to have to do something very quickly if they want to win out the round. And if they are able to face and really pace out the round for themselves, hopefully soon they will be able to get the plant out. And who knows, maybe they'll win out the round if they hold their angle sufficiently.
So that Evil Eye is going to be a massive pain in the butt, so you are not really going to be able to plant, and that smoke canister is really going to be a huge pain here. Yeah, definitely this might be the first round the Liberty team wins, however they will, oh, that Evil Eye, however, could be the end of it, because we can see the defenders were not really in a good position to defend the A-bomb, but the more and more the situation stagnates and the more and more it does not evolve, well, Jokesy and new players are able to link back up and to come back on that A-bomb, leaving us in a 1v4 situation. And no, obviously at that point it was just too late.
Yeah, obviously looking back at that round, as time started to waste for the defenders, it really started becoming a defender's game, as the attackers weren't able to do too much when it came down to the plant and being decisive, considering the presence of the Evil Eye. Then on top of that, there wasn't really any Thatcher to take away the Evil Eye, or Twitch in that moment to take away the Evil Eye. So it really just came down to how well the Maestro could play out the rest of the round. He really truly became the MVP of that round by the end.
Oh, definitely. So even though he didn't really get much kills, so he got one kill on Thermite, he still did most of the heavy lifting, which was playing for time and letting that timer run out, which caused so much pressure on the Jokes on You team. They were not able to mount any significant response to that. Just that easy win at the end of the day. Halt the pressure, hold them off, wait it out. That was the game plan, and it worked perfectly.
Yeah, definitely would agree with you on that one. So with that being said, we do walk into our next round being the CEO room. Honestly, the defense has been able to hold this out for the attack, but barely. So possibly this round, if the attack does play their cards right, they might be able to get a one round. Their first round being won.
So we're going to have here the attack for the 5th time spawning in, this time hoping for different results. Do you see any significant change on the Liberty game style or operators selection or anything that might indicate to you that they're not going to lose this round like they lost the others?
Honestly, I think that this round might actually truly be lost by them, just by the choices of their character choices, because if you look at it, they don't necessarily have a hard breacher or a utility blocker character. Obviously, Thatcher being banned, but Twitch is still a viable option as well, and so far they haven't even really chosen that. So, other than the fact that the Zofia is in use, along with the Lion and the Capital being utility players, really too much to hard breach on that, so that the attackers can get a unprecedented way or outlet into the objective. So unless the attackers can get frags, which it looks like they might be able to this round, it might be a lost round.
However, as you say this, it is already a 3-5 situation. The Z-Bot will be the next one peeking, will fall as well. And since we do have our last scene, we had Smoke roaming downstairs. Xenovic here is in a 1v0, but last Smoke is just walking back up the stairs. So yeah, it is no longer a 1v5 situation for the objective, but nonetheless, they're still at a 2-1 disadvantage. He is able to get back barely on site, but is stopped short of it. So nice try, better luck next time. And Xenovic here in a 1v4 situation. This might be the one round Liberty we're waiting for, which would put to shame any and all of the predictions we were making on this round, because I didn't see anything new either in the setup. setup. Oh, here Xenovic does not know where these bullets are coming from, and that is going to be the end of him. Liberty showing us that even though they have a hard time winning the rounds, they're not completely defenseless against Jokes on You, and they're not going to be bullied around anymore.
Yeah, I definitely can say that with confidence. That was a rush strat. It was quite the rush strat, especially IQ leading the main rush, able to get, I believe, 3 kills to open up the round and cementing a pretty big lead within the round. And it made so that the defense was prepped to have to clutch at that point, and unfortunately they were not able to clutch, with Valkyrie finally getting taken away from the round at the end by the attacker able to walk up the stairs, or sorry, the line able to walk through the objective.
So we were talking about the lack of a thermite, or the lack of heart breaching capability due to the lack of Thatcher. He's banned, but yeah, bandits and mute charges would be a big problem. But at the end of the day, when you stop yourself to breach the reinforced wall, it is no longer a rush strat, and this is why they did not even try to go for the thermite charges. They just went through the doors and poured into the objective, and arguably it worked. So let's see if we'll have the same thing happen again.
10 seconds left.
This objective is going to be really interesting because there are many ways to approach it. So on the top floor, for example, if we're here, you only have the balcony, so for a defender there's not too much of a room to scan if you want to stop them short of entering. But here on the first floor you have the whole lobby. They can be hiding behind any of the pillars. Heaven, you said, was that room's name in English? Same
Yep.
thing. They can be at a myriad of places behind all those pillars, who can provide minimal cover. But yeah, it does not seem as if rushing is the way to go. Embedded Spade really was here and prevented IQ from getting any further. Raze here, Bearer of the Diffuser and VIP operator by the nature of his gadget is going to be holding the angle himself, and that is just not going to work either. Zofia tries to go for the refrag, and oh, Legion is low. But yeah, he left, he's alive, and there's a dog in the team, so all that will be for naught. 3v5 situation and not much progress to be reported. This round looks grim for the Liberty team, even though they still have 2/3 of the rounds to play.
Yeah, unfortunately, the first quick couple kills of the round do tend to predict how the round is going to go, and especially with the IQ, a big foundational part of the Liberty team being taken away from play, it does look like it's going to shape up to be a Jokes on You round. Once again, putting us at a 5-1 score line. But what I'm most interested in talking about is the fact that Jokes on You is going to be going into their role swap rounds after this round. So after this round, we obviously are going to see them being placed on attack, and those few attack rounds are going to speak for the rest of the game. Genuinely, if they are able to get even 2 more attack rounds, then they are able to win out the round from this point. But obviously, with the 2v3 situation, this might actually have hope for Liberty and this round. Talking in the present, but yeah, talking for the future, I would definitely have to say that the attack rounds for Jokes on You are going to be very interesting to see played out.
So what's also kind of interesting is, if you remember how Liberty played last time, or was it two games ago when we were on the clubhouse? The first time they attacked, I saw them being really cautious. Do you remember how the first round they had 4 people droning to make sure that no roamers would sneak up on them? Their playstyle has definitely evolved over their game session tonight, so they might no longer be the same that we knew from last game, or to some extent, right? It's not gonna be they're not gonna be reborn all of a sudden, but yeah.
I mean, I think I'm sorry to cut you off there, but I think it honestly goes down to the levels of skill and levels of playstyle that each team brings to the table when you're especially going in Go4s with very varied teams. I mean, it's all about the game of adaptability for Team Liberty, and the fact that, yeah, they were able to drone out every single angle and every single spot they were going, but the fact that they weren't able to this round, I mean, especially because of the different map being Bank. Bank is it's a big roamer-oriented map. It's obviously a defense-sided map, as shown in Pro League stats from across the board, absolutely across the board. So with that being said, it's not only a map for defenders, but a map that is very roam-oriented. So, like I said, roam-oriented being there's a lot of places for roamers to hide. There's a lot of places that give roamers advantages and give roamers abilities that you wouldn't normally necessarily have. And especially with Liberty being on attack first, they didn't necessarily have a lot of opportunity to be anything but the attack and kind of be at a disadvantage from the get-go.
Yeah, so that was a really well thought out explanation, and definitely you presented every single point there was to make, so I don't have anything to refute you with. So let's just talk about that round. So it is not yet match point, but should the tendency keep on going, it might very well be pretty much match point next round. However, as we were saying, the role swap might change things up a bit. Since if you were just looking at firefights, face to face, I shoot at you, you shoot at me, the accuracy or the aims of the teams seem to be more or less on an equal playing field. So it really comes down to the strats and the play styles of the players. And this is why the role swap is going to be very interesting here. First of all, the Liberty has a really beautiful C4 tossing game, as we could see. But they were only able to neutralize Twitch, which is, speaking of gadgets, not that much of a VIP operator. Sadly, had they gotten Hibana, for example, or even Maverick, it would have been a bit more important here. But yeah, we're seeing Ash, who is going to try to flank from the back since she has her teammates putting loads of pressure, massive pressure on the reinforced walls, opened reinforced walls, should I say. Oh, and that was a heavy hit on Offering, who will just be bailing out of here. Nixie is low as well, so he will be staying in a dead angle. Raze with that run out, he has been clearly identified, and he's out of the objective, so that's really not going to be good for him. But we have Ash, who's already in a 1v3 situation, so it's a total swap situation. It kind of reversed here. We kind of know where the defenders are. The defenders are kind of low. Ash is low as well, so any mistake on either of those players is going to prove fatal. Ash does not have a
Oh my god, and that was the collateral.
Wow.
They just lined up for it. It's one of those moments where both defenders just lined up. It was a that left me speechless. Oh my, that happened so quickly too. When you think everything is going wrong that round, and that just happens, it just restores hope for you completely. Putting us at a 6-1 scoreline now with match point. This is the point of no return. This is the point that we've been talking about with these teams, and unfortunately for Team Liberty, they've been on both sides of the proceedings here, and now with them being on 1-6 match point, it's the point of no return for them. It looks like this is gonna be game on joke's on you.
The last round, however, was quite it was a close round compared to some of the other rounds we've had. It was really balanced. So this, I believe at least, is why the Liberty team will go CEO again and hope for a different outcome, because the different outcome might very well have happened. Oh, that camera is not as well concealed as I believe Firemeister would have liked. But yeah, so I would expect pretty much the same setup as before. And I would believe, I think they'll just hope for a luckier C4 that would just make the difference between that round and the last. Since, once again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't see anything different in their setup compared to last time. Obviously, Valkyrie still has the one black eye, which will go outside on that. I don't really know how you'd call that. It's not really a house. It's a billboard. Looks like a
building.
It seems too small for me to house a person. I thought it was just like a wall to put up to put flyers on. Um,
You know what it might be? It could be well, this is a bank, so it might be an ATM.
maybe. At the end of the day, it is so unconsequential. Let's talk about the actual game here.
rather than the rather than the designing the designing abilities of the Ubisoft team, but nonetheless, going into the game, we are going to be seeing IQ probing, absolutely probing for intel on the objective. She doesn't necessarily see anything, but it looks like Ash as well. Looks like this is going to be a stealthy approach for Team Jokes on you, and I'm honestly here for it.
You know what my gut feeling is? Since Liberty went for pretty much the exact same defense, this time Jokes on You knows what they're up against. And, well, this time maybe IQ will be the first one to fall as well, but apparently Botlas is here to get the refrag. He was ready for some sort of a run out, so yeah, definitely we have here a Casso who died in the street here. Yeah, we might be expecting the same outcome again or something different. Nonetheless, these Valkyrie cameras were not identified last round, so any intel here will be gathered. Obviously, no ping will occur, so Botlas will have his position known. Same thing for those attackers who are here on the balcony. So you will try to get the angle on fire. He will jump. He will fall right into the claymore, though.
Oh
will he
my
get?
gosh.
What is that? This,
Oh my god!
wow.
But what was that?
Okay, so first of all, the claymore was in another window, so my bad on that one. And yeah, this looks kind of, it lagged so bad. Oh no, that is unfortunate. And finally, Hibana won in a 1v3 situation. Liberty winning a second round at least. I rubber banded twice. Is rubber banding? It's an English expression, right? In the gaming
Rubber
culture.
banding. Yeah, it's basically when you get
Yeah.
lagged backwards.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that sometimes I'm confusing the French and the English expressions. Yeah, it's really curious. In French, you would use the English terms rollback. Like, oh, I'm rollbacking.
Rollback.
Yeah, well, your position is being rolled back, as if you're pulling previous data, which is why you rubber band, basically. So yeah, since
Yeah.
both are technically speaking English terms, I was kind of searching my memory which one. Yeah, we can see the lag here. Which one was the English expression and the French expression using English words? Nonetheless, 2-6. Good news if you're a fan of Liberty, but all in all, it is not going to be easy to win that game.
For sure. They are going to be on the attack this time around with the the locker site. So they do have a little bit more of a chance considering CEO is more of a widely known defense-sided objective, I guess you could say, to put it into very simple terms, but nonetheless, we are going to definitely be seeing a bit of a different proceeding here, just even by looking at the characters chosen. We're going to see a lot more of a team structural type of composition coming in with Thermite, Habana, and utility characters like Maverick, Zofia, and Buck. Obviously, these guys are definitely going to be going for a lot of vertical play, a lot of hard breaching capability, which is definitely what we love to see.
So I deliberately stayed into Warden's POV way longer than I should have. Why do you think they're bringing a Warden to the table? I'm really curious because he's barely played at all, and with good reason. So for the Liberty team to be bringing him out, there has to be a reason behind it because they don't look to me as if they're giving up. So what do you think is the reasoning behind Warden being played today?
Either to combat the use of Capitao smoke bolts, just smokes in general, or maybe for the guns, because the guns are pretty powerful on Warden. He does have that SAS pump shotgun along with the SMG 12 or 11, whichever one. They're one of the SMGs, but yeah, it is, yeah, the SMG 12. So they both are very powerful guns, especially used at close range, which is what the Warden does seem to be using them for. So I can definitely say that picking Warden for guns would be a viable option, but not necessarily for his ability. Wouldn't have to agree with the ability.
So here we can hear Thermite opening up the hatch. This is not going to be good since then Offering is opening himself up to be pushed from behind from downstairs, which is not a good position to be in, which is why Raze will be here. And that's quite interesting. It's one of the first times I see so much energy being put into actually securing server room because you want to defend the staircase. You see it from time to time, but this on this game it is a core strategy of both teams when it comes to defending the basement. And here there is going to be a laser pointer on that gun, so that's not good news for anybody who could be in the area. But as we can see here, there's no attacker. Offering here is holding it at angle and just not really contributing, which is why the diffuser is being planted. Watch, Raze will be coming here, but apparently there is some attackers who are in the area also want to protect him. Buck will be jumping down. It is absolute mayhem. Gets the first kill. 2v3 situation right now. Next he's in the vault and Offering is in the staff room. Both of them have less than ideal positioning. And oh, he wants to prevent his opponent from being revived with the pistol now. Did he get the kill? No, it was Offering with a kill at the very same moment. Buck is holding the hatch. Offering cannot really jump down. Turning around, trying to switch gears a little bit. Wants to go for the other kill. It works, but he took a bit of damage. In the meantime, Offering was able to jump down, but he's stuck between a rock and a hard place on both sides. He knows there's an opponent who will not be overly aggressive. The diffuser is in his line of sight, but just out of reach. That's not a good moment. Will he get the kill? Oh, that would have been beautiful. But no, you wins the last kill, winning Jokes on You the game.
Unfortunately, it's going to be a hipfire kill, but that is going to wrap up our last game with a 7-2 scoreline. So, yeah, I'd have to say great job on the part of Team Jokes on You. They did absolutely stellar round, stellar performance from them, and can't really ask for anything more from them.
Yeah, definitely. They did their best. It just wasn't enough when it comes to the Liberty team. But definitely they didn't give up, which is something you'd see many teams do. When they face unsurmountable odds, they just think to themselves, even if it's subconsciously, why am I still trying? It's not worth this energy since it's lost anyway. And sometimes it's not, right? These crazy comeback stories, they're not myths, right? They're stories. They do happen. Oh, that kill would have been beautiful. I don't want to say disappointed. I do not really expect it to happen, but oh, that clutch would have been magic. So, with that being said, that is pretty much going to be it for us tonight. So, I just want to say thank you to everybody for being here. I'll apologize for being tired, and I apologize for you as well. I believe you're tired as well. So, our performances were a bit subpar this week. Very sorry about that. In 2 weeks, so next week I won't be there, but in 2 weeks we will do better. That is a promise. Do you have anything to add on to that?
Not too much other than to go check out my channel if you do. !caster. I have my own Twitch channel that I will sometimes stream on, and I basically promote myself on that channel, but yeah, I don't really have too much to say other than that, and I think I'm ready to wrap it up here.
Well, thank you all for being here, and best of luck to the Jokes on You team for their upcoming games, and best of luck to the Liberty team to figure out what went wrong and find out a solution to their given problem, and to come back in strength next game, or next week, should I say. So yeah, once again, thank you all for being here. I will kick us into the end stream screen. The end stream screen, tongue twister. For those of you who don't know, it is basically the replay stream scene, sorry, but with all of the replays that we've recorded tonight. So shuffled all together, pretty much all of the action we have witnessed today. That is going to be quite nice if you want to just rewatch your highlights of the day. So once again, thank you all for being here. This has been me and Jenna signing off. See you next time.